We are now live. Hey there, Foundation staff. Sherm here, and welcome to Site-42's Halloween stream. We will be streaming for 24 hours straight to benefit the San Francisco LGBT Center. We have a bunch of guests lined up, from SCP authors on the site and artists to just random friends of mine who are going to come help out. Thank you, Aaron. Katie, my girlfriend, is in the background. We will be reading SCPs for the next 23 hours and 45 minutes. We are streaming via Get Vocal and YouTube Live. I am verifying right now that the YouTube is in fact running. We have 2 windows going there, so fantastic. I'm going to do a little bit of stream maintenance to start by making sure that our donation link is saved into the description of that live video on YouTube. And so once I do that, we will get started. And so we are currently streaming live. I see the live broadcast right here. Excellent. Correct. I am adding the donation link to the description right now. And this is on YouTube. Shift 1. Save. Now, as another bit of stream maintenance that I want to make sure everyone's aware of, while we are doing this stream, we are going to be cutting every 2 hours. That way everything is split up for videos later on. And so at that, there are 12 shifts of this story. So you will see 2 hours of everyone here. I will be here regardless, but whenever we have people, that'll be shifting, rotating guests along the way, and maybe I might need a nap. It depends on how much caffeine I get. Hashtag not sponsored. And so thank you, Aaron, for joining us all the way from Florida. I've got the messages all set up. I've got the stream active and running. I'm trying to get my YouTube comments up so I can see them, but until I can do that, Katie will be monitoring the stream from offhand and can let me know if anything interesting is asked or mentioned in the YouTube chat. But at least for round 1, I figure the first SCP we start with might as well be the original. And so the first article, our favorite creepy statue, is going to be SCP-173, known as The Sculpture. And so this is our first reading of the night. 24 hours. Let's do it. Item number, SCP-173. Object class, Euclid. Special containment procedures. Item SCP-173 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter SCP-173's container, no fewer than 3 may enter at any time, and the door is to be relocked behind them. At all times, 2 persons must maintain direct eye contact with SCP-173 until all personnel have vacated and relocked the container. Description: moved to Site-19, 1993. Origin is as of yet unknown. It is constructed from concrete and rebar, with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. SCP-173 is animate and extremely hostile. The object cannot move while within a direct line of sight. Line of sight must not be broken at any time with SCP-173. Personnel assigned to enter container are instructed to alert one another before blinking. Object is reported to attack by snapping the neck at the base of the skull, or by strangulation. In the event of an attack, personnel are to observe Class 4 hazardous object containment procedures. Personnel report sounds of scraping stone originating from within the container when no one is present inside. This is considered normal, and any change in this behavior should be reported to the acting HMCL supervisor on duty. The reddish-brown substance on the floor is a combination of feces and blood. Origin of these materials is unknown. The enclosure must be cleaned on a bi-weekly basis. That is one and done. We are 1 article into this stream. Congratulations, everybody. We made it. Good job, team. All right. We did it. We have started. We are active. And so now, what do we read next? That's going to be the question for the rest of the night. What do we read next? We are taking requests.
I can do the clown one.
Oh, Lord, please. We will be taking requests from the chat all night long. If you are an SCP author and you want us to read your article, please ask us. But yes, since our dear friend of the stream, Aaron Johnson, is in fact a clown tonight, we are going to let Aaron read Bobble the Clown. And so do you have Bobble the Clown already?
I do. Okay.
Fantastic. I leave this to you.
SCP-993. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. Any broadcasts of SCP-993 are to be intercepted as detailed in Protocol Upsilon Beta 3 and blocked from public viewing. All intercepted broadcasts are to be recorded and stored for future viewing. Any subjects used to view SCP-993 must be under the age of 10 and are to be dosed with a Class A amnesiac after they have described the episode. Viewing of SCP-993 must be authorized by 3 Level 4 personnel. Description: SCP-993 is a children's television program entitled Bobble the Clown, which first began airing in Redacted. SCP-993 seems to have been made in the style of an educational cartoon, with the primary plot of most episodes being the titular character Bobble the Clown learning a new skill or activity. The program appears to have no supporting cast, and the setting of the program often changes between episodes. SCP-993's anomalous properties become obvious when the program is viewed. Anyone watching, aged 10 years or older, will immediately fall unconscious when the program begins and will remain incapacitated until the end of the program, later reporting a stabbing headache immediately before blacking out. Children under the age of 10 viewing SCP-993 later report that it teaches and advocates activities such as cannibalism, murder, torture, and data expunged. These activities appear to become ingrained in the subject's mind. Repeated exposure to SCP-993 can result in permanent psychotic and schizophrenic symptoms. Episodes of SCP-993 are regularly broadcast from a currently unknown source, but since Redacted, all broadcasts have been successfully intercepted using Protocol Upsilon Beta 3 and blocked from public viewing. There's an episode log. Bobble's Kitchen Surprise. Setting of episode is a stereotypical small American town. In the episode, Bobble the Clown appears to kidnap one of the town's citizens and takes him to his home. Once there, Bobble the Clown informs the viewer on how to prepare human flesh for consumption, then proceeds to skin, gut, and cook the citizen. Bobble in the Big City. Setting of episode is large American city, possibly New York. In the episode, Bobble the Clown instructs viewers on methods of lighting fires undetected, using resources such as mosquito coils. At the end of the episode, Bobble the Clown sets fire to a large building and leaves. The picture stays on the burning building for a further 3 minutes before the episode ends. Screams are audible during this time. Bobble's Sneaky Saturday. Setting of episode appears to be London, as the Elizabeth Tower housing Big Ben is visible. In the episode, Bobble stalks a woman for most of the episode. When she arrives at her home, Bobble the Clown attacks and kills her with a large butcher knife. At the end of the episode, Bobble the Clown details methods of remaining unseen in crowded spaces. Bobble Gets the Truth. Setting of episode appears to be a prisoner of war camp. In the episode, Bobble the Clown tortures a captured soldier, repeatedly asking him nonsensical questions. The soldier eventually appears to die of his wounds. Bobble the Clown then details to the viewer how to inflict painful but non-lethal injuries. Bobble Hates You. Setting of episode appears to be a blank room. Bobble the Clown sits on a chair in the room, staring angrily at the viewer for the full 30 minutes of the episode. Expletive you, expletive you, expletive you. Setting of the episode appears to be Site-42 video archive, where recording of SCP-993 are stored. In the episode, Bobble the Clown angrily details methods of breaching containment for several SCPs. Bobble then details methods to murder researchers involved in its containment, showing detailed knowledge of their daily routines and habits. Notably, what appears to be an animated version of Dr. Redacted walks past Bobble halfway through the episode. A clock on the wall shows the time as Redacted PM. Dr. Redacted confirms that he was walking past SCP-993's archive at the time. Dun dun dun.
Dun. Bobble. Creepy, creepy. And by the way, anytime we have introduced one of these documents, it would be fun to go in and check on the tales that are related to them, because sometimes these guys have terrible tales, and it's nice to be able to continue on after these creepers. But at least for now, I actually have a tale I want to read that's Halloween related. But before doing that, I want to go into the character himself, which is SCP-106, another classic article. And so I'm going to pull that mother up. Oh, that's a good new picture. The thing about the SCP Wiki is they keep updating things constantly, and so you never see what's actually there. And they've had to redo a lot of these images due to copyright stuff and this and that. And, oh, that's nice. Good. I think Volgan did that. If Volgan did that, good job, mate. That is upsetting. Okay,
Yikes.
so item number SCP-106, object class Keter, special containment procedures revision 11-6. No physical interaction with SCP-106 is allowed at any time. All physical interaction must be approved by no less than 2/3 vote from O5 command, and may only extend to testing situations. All staff, research, security, Class D, etc., are to remain at least 20 meters away from the containment cell at all times, except for mandated maintenance and reevaluation checks. Containment cell must be held suspended in a secondary cell, the walls of which must be at least 30 meters distant from the outer walls or the first or primary cell. The secondary cell is to remain under total observation at all times, and be both illuminated and clear of any and all debris. Any items, movement, or non-normal activity noted within the secondary cell will result in a full site lockdown. Lockdown will be maintained until a situation normal dispatch is issued by Site Command. Any corrosion observed on the primary cell, secondary cell, staff members, or other site locations within 200 meters of SCP-106 are to be reported to Site Security immediately. Any objects or personnel lost to SCP-106 are to be deemed missing or killed in action. No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. Note: SCP-106 does not have a docile state. Any reduction in activity or increased compliance from SCP-106 is to be deemed a luring tactic immediately preceding an aggressive action, and treated as such. Note: SCP discontinued due to escape percentage. Revision 11-7. No physical interaction with SCP-106 is allowed at any time. All physical interaction must be approved by no less than a 2/3 vote from O5 command, and may only extend to testing situations. All staff, research, security, Class D, etc., are to remain at least 30 meters away from the containment cell at all times, except under direct order from Site Command. SCP-106 to be kept within an ACO container comprised of 16 layers of lead-lined steel, each separated by no less than 18 centimeters of open space aside from minimal support struts. Said containers to be kept suspended by a continuous current system within a fluid medium. This medium is to be replaced in 48-hour cycles and constantly monitored for any corrosion intrusion. Any corrosion observed on any containment cell surfaces, staff members. Oh no, they're corroding the staff members. Or other site locations within 200 meters of SCP-106 are to be reported to Site Security immediately. Any objects or personnel lost to SCP-106 are to be deemed missing or killed in action. No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. SCP-106 does not have a docile state. Any reduction in activity or increased compliance from SCP-106 is to be deemed a luring tactic immediately, preceding an aggressive action and treated as such. Note: observation of SCP-106 has shown a slight resistance when passing through lead or other similar metals. The thickness of the material appears to make no difference. In addition, multiple layers of thin material appear to slow SCP-106, forcing it to enter and re-emerge multiple times. Fluids also appear to temporarily confuse SCP-106. Note: Special containment procedures discontinued due to multiple surface breaches. Agitation system continued to disperse corrosion during breach event, resulting in multiple breaches and full containment failure. Revision 11-8. No physical interaction with SCP-106 is allowed at any time. All physical interaction must be approved by no less than a 2/3 vote from O5 Command. Any such interaction must be undertaken in AR-2 maximum security sites after a general non-essential staff evacuation. All staff, research, security, Class D, etc., are to remain at least 60 meters away from the containment cell at all times, except in the event of breach events. SCP-106 is to be contained in a sealed container comprised of lead-lined steel. The container will be sealed within 40 layers of identical material, each layer separated by no less than 36 centimeters of empty space. Support struts between layers are to be randomly spaced. Container is to remain suspended no less than 60 centimeters from any surface by ELO 2D electromagnetic supports. Secondary containment areas will be comprised of 16 spherical cells, each filled with various fluids in a random assembly of surfaces and supports. Secondary containment is to be fitted with light systems, capable of flooding the entire assembly with no less than 80,000 lumens of light instantly with no direct human involvement. Both containment areas are to remain under 24-hour surveillance. Any corrosion observed on any containment cell surfaces, staff members were still corroding the staff, oh dear God, or other site locations within 200 meters of SCP-106 are to be reported to site security immediately. Any objects or personnel lost to SCP-106 are to be deemed missing or killed in action. No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. Note: Continued research and observation have shown that, when faced with highly complex, random assemblies of structures, SCP-106 can be confused, showing a marked delay on entry and exit from said structure. SCP-106 has also shown aversion to direct sudden light. This is not manifested in any form of physical damage, but a rapid exit into the pocket dimension generated on solid surfaces. These observations, along with those of lead aversion and liquid confusion, have reduced the general escape incidence by 43%. The primary cells have also been effective in recovery incidents requiring recall protocol redacted date. Observation is ongoing. Are we having a problem? We seem to be having an audio issue, maybe?
Choppy again.
I'm glad there's a delay, but it sounds fine to me. Is that what I sound like to you?
It just stopped.
Oh, yay, it just stopped being bad. Hooray.
It's back.
And it just stopped.
It's back, but then it goes...
It sounded like you were staticky and underwater.
It's like you're
The
gargling.
Oh, yay, the audio is gargled. And it's... So right now it's fine. Okay, so we're good. We're good for now. We're good for now. Hallelujah, we're good for now. All right, let's continue. Description. SCP-106 appears to be an elderly humanoid with a general appearance of advanced decomposition. This appearance may vary, but the rotting quality is observed in all forms. SCP-106 is not exceptionally agile and will remain motionless for days at a time waiting for prey. SCP-106 is also capable of scaling any vertical surface and can remain suspended upside down indefinitely. When attacking, SCP-106 will attempt to incapacitate prey by damaging major organs, muscle groups, or tendons, then pull disabled prey into its pocket dimension. SCP-106 appears to prefer human prey items in the 10 to 25 years of age bracket. SCP-106 causes a corrosion effect in all solid matter it touches, engaging a physical breakdown in materials several seconds after contact. This is observed as rusting, rotting, and cracking of materials, and the creation of a black mucus-like substance, similar to the material coating SCP-106. This effect is particularly detrimental to living tissues, and is assumed to be a pre-digestion action. Corrosion continues for 6 hours after contact, after which the effect appears to burn out. SCP-106 is capable of passing through solid matter, leaving behind a large patch of its corrosive mucus. SCP-106 is able to vanish inside solid matter entering what is assumed to be a form of pocket dimension. SCP-106 is then able to exit this dimension from any point connected to the initial entry point, examples being entering the inner wall of a room and exiting the outer wall, entering a wall and then exiting from the ceiling. It is unknown if this is the point of origin for SCP-106 or a simple layer created by SCP-106. Limited observation of this pocket dimension has shown it to be comprised mostly of halls and rooms, with data expunged entry. This activity can continue for days, with some subjected individuals being released for the express purpose of hunting, recapture, and data expunged. Addendum: SCP Special Containment Review Notes. Due to the exceedingly difficult to contain nature of SCP-106, special containment procedures is to be reviewed every 3 months or during a post-breach incident. Physical restraints are impossible, and direct physical damage appears to have no effect on SCP-106. Current containment procedures, as of data redacted, revolves around basic observation and immediate response. Previous, more proactive special containment procedures have been recalled due to the events of breaches, several redacted breaches. Are we having trouble again?
It started as the process and it's been a little late. So did you have delay? I don't know what you sound like right now.
Yeah, it seems to cut in and out, and thankfully there's a delay so I can hear it after the fact. Let me buzz Lokesh and see if he has any idea what that is. And then we will continue this document. The audio seems to go.
And then there's a delay between your audio and visual.
Vert back to normal. Any idea why that is? I could use help. I don't understand tech. I'm just a guy with a microphone.
What I'm hearing is pretty consistently garbled.
Garbled the whole time, huh?
Yeah.
Now it's getting worse. Now it's getting worse. And JK points out that staticky with a notable delay between noise and visuals. Okay.
Now, yes, that is new.
Also,
That just happened.
a very large delay between video and audio. That's not a good thing. That is also a bad thing. Rura Scarlet points out that it sounds like SCP-106 got my microphone. Oh, you're not wrong. I'm just sad about it.
It's in the pocket dimension.
Oh no. Oh no.
Clean off all the black mucus.
Oh, just rub, rub, rub. Oh, it's sticky and it burns.
All right, you have 6 hours.
I say only 23 hours and 20 minutes to go. We can figure this out, guys. We can do it as a team.
Oh, now you sound okay.
Now I sound okay. All right, well, let's continue
an
while
internet
we're
thing?
live. Say again? Oh.
I'm just wondering if it's an internet signal. Do you have fast internet?
Yeah, I do have a fast internet stream, and I am wired in through the laptop because I was afraid of that very problem. I do see a notable delay between my Get Vocal cam over here and my YouTube cam over here, but I assume that's just sync from going to the like simulcasting. I feel like that's just a simulcast delay.
Yeah, that sounds.
Thankfully, this chat is live, so I don't have to worry about the chat being delayed. I just have to keep tabs on that visually. But hey, you know, we do what we can. All right, so while the sound is still good, let's continue with notes on behavior. Notes on behavior. SCP-106 appears to go through long periods of dormancy. in which it will remain completely motionless for up to 3 months. The cause for this is unknown. However, it has been shown that this appears to be used as a lulling tactic. SCP-106 will emerge from this state in a very agitated state. Sidebar, that wording bothers me. I don't like the use of state twice in the sentence. The inner critic is angry. Continuing on. And will attack and abduct staff and cause gross damage to its containment cell and the site at large. Recall protocol, data expunged. SCP-106 appears to hunt and attack based on desire, not hunger. SCP-106 will attack and collect multiple prey items during a hunting behavior event. Ooh, does that link to the article I want to read? It does! That's the story I'm going to tell next. Keeping many alive in the pocket dimension for extended periods of time. SCP-106 has no determinable limit and appears to collect a random number of prey items during an event. The interdimension is accessed by SCP-1. The interdimension accessed by SCP-106 appears to be only accessible by SCP-106. Accessed and accessible. We did it again. Recording and transmission devices have been shown to still operate inside this dimension. The recordings and transmissions are very degraded, much like my audio this evening. It appears that SCP-106 will play with captured prey and appears to have full control of time, space, and perception inside this dimension. SCP-106 appears data expunged in big, angry red letters. Recall protocol redacted. In the event of a breach by SCP-106, a human within the 10 to 25 years of age bracket will be prepped for recall, with the compromised containment cell being replaced or restored for use. When the cell is ready, the lure subject will be injured, preferably via the breakage of a long bone, such as the femur, or the severing of a major tendon, such as the Achilles tendon. Lure subject will then be placed in the prepped cell, and the sound emitted by said subject will be transmitted over the site public address system. SCP-106 will typically begin to gravitate toward the lure subject within 10 to 15 minutes after hearing the subject. The lure subject within hearing the subject. Should SCP-106 not respond to the initial broadcast, additional physical trauma is to be administered to the lure subject at 20-minute intervals until SCP-106 responds. Multiple lure subjects may be used in the case of a major breach event. SCP-106 will typically enter a dormant state after finishing with the lure subject. In addition, subjects may data expunged. Also, just because we have it, here is a picture of creepy agent blank after release by SCP-106. Subject had been missing for 2 hours. Subject remained alive for 1 hour after release. Super creepy picture.
That's what the guy looked like?
That is what the captured person looked like. This is also what it looked like when I woke up from my nap today. So, that was SCP-106. And SCP-106 went on a wonderful Halloween adventure one time during an escape, and that adventure is called Treats. And so we are going to read Treats in the spirit of the holiday. Checking out the chat. Angry Shermowers. That's right, Rua. When the words double, I get grumpy. When I have to read articles for the channel, that always trips me up. When you say the same thing twice in a sentence. Voice actor problems. And now... When I sound good, I sound real good. But when I sound bad, it gets worse and worse and worse and angrier. And then it goes back to normal, like nothing happened. That's so great. Thanks, Internet.
It's delicious popcorn.
Oh, yeah, delicious popcorn. I will apply plenty of buttery, silky smooth voice to that popcorn. No, Sherman, stop. It's so bad. Oh, brought to you by Dad Jokes. Yeah. There are no children. This is a horror stream. The only thing horrifying is my sense of humor. Hey. All right, we are reading Treats, starting into the SCP Tales. Everyone loves tales. All right, note from Dr. Alec. I would like to here again state that 106 is not, as is commonly believed, a basic predator on par with an advanced shark. SCP-106 is a sentient being, albeit a totally alien one. SCP-106 appears to be aware of several things beyond the scope of pure instinct and genetic memory. SCP-106 consistently breaches at moments where recovery and containment are most difficult. A fox may see his way out of a trap, but only a man will wait for his captors to look away to escape. Signed, Dr. Alec, on Sentience and Contained Humanoids. For fuck's sake, where the hell is it? Agent Wang sighed, rubbing his face through his mask. Oh, first curse word of the evening. Yay. Put that on the mark. Agent Wang sighed, rubbing his face through his mask.
We're PG-13.
Rubbing his face, though his mask. There's a typo. There is a typo in this article. No. No. That cannot stand. I am a contributor to this website, and I'm going to fix it right now. I have the power of typo editing. This is just one of the many services I offer. If you are in this stream tonight, please feel free, if you're a member of the wiki, to fix typos. But I'm taking this one. This is our first typo of the evening. I have written SCPs. I have read over 250 of them for the channel. And sometimes I have to fix typos. I will not fix grammar because I don't know what the author wants, but I will fix typos. All right. Rubbing his face, though his mask. No. This will not stand.
Weird hill to die on, but okay.
Weird hill to die on, but okay. All right. Rubbing his face through his mask. The night was chill, but all three men were sweating badly. All around them surged horrors, monsters, demons, fantasy beasts, and animate objects, giggling and roaring as they wandered. The three men in gas masks and armored suits looked underdressed, if anything. As they stood, one man suddenly reached out, a gloved fist grabbing a mildly drunk zombie and tugging it close for a few seconds, before releasing him back to the surge of humanity, and the undead beast cursing and stumbling away. Fucking Halloween bullshit. We need to seal this whole area. Agent Drax shook his head, gesturing to the traveling packs of costumed revelers. The rail car popped too close to the city. It wasn't even supposed to be on this track. They think MC&D might have buggered up something. Can't clamp the whole town without major fallout. What the hell do they think will happen now? The old bastard is out there, and we can't even fucking find him. Wen kicked a discarded wrapper, glaring through tinted lenses at everyone who didn't have to chase hell for a living. Drac patted the fuming man on the back. Easy, big fella. Command figures the old man takes a couple people, then does his lazy crocodile thing. That's easier to cover than why a major city had to be quarantined on Halloween. Parks, until now little more than a statue, crackled in with his rusty, broken voice. How hard is it to find a rotten old man that kills everything it touches? Wang shook his head, still scanning the crowd. He just looks like an old man most of the time. He can look however he wants. Normally we tell people to just follow the screaming. Fat fucking lot of good that does now. Where the hell is our expert? A brittle, creaking chuckle rolled over the radio. Harkin says he's as much an expert on SCP-106 as a plane crash survivor is an expert on aviation. They won't field lab techs until our initial eval. We're on our own for now. The three men stood, awash in horrors, looking for one that would put all the rest to shame. The drunk angel wandered on the edge of the fire. Demons, zombies, and pop culture icons swirled around her, moving like a single mass before scattering into small clusters and pairs, only to surge back together again. The bonfire seemed to roar in time with the pounding music. The field chosen for noise complaints. but not far enough to attract unwanted adult oversight. Alcohol flowed, people giggled, and the sharp snap of lowered inhibitions and teen angst was thick in the chill air. The night was still young, yet already several pairs had drifted from the comfort of the fire to seek other comforts in the dark, private woods ringing the field. The angel, silent trees, taking a pull. Interesting. Real quick, Aaron, do you have this article pulled up by chance?
Yes.
Why don't you take this part of the tale since it's the angel? Seems like a good subject for you to voice.
The angel glared at the silent trees, taking another pull on an almost empty beer. She drained it, then tossed it down to meet a holocaust of its brothers being slowly kicked and stamped into the soft dirt. Littering. She should be there, being held in warm arms, kissing a warm mouth. But no, she decided to run with the one boy who seemed to think the moment before a party was the best time to bring up his worries about our relationship. Bastard. The angel, now with lopsided wings, started to wander those cool, dark trees. Fuck him. If he wanted to toss her aside, fine. That didn't mean she wouldn't get to have fun still. She giggled a bit, smiling for the first time in a while. Why not have a little fun? Play a trick and get her treat. She laughed, the flush of wicked amusement and booze high in her cheeks. She'd seen one of the boys from her study hall wander back here. Maybe she could find him, get a little better acquainted. She walked into the cooler darkness, the occasional giggle, snip of whisper, or a flash of glow stick the only indication of life. She stumbled over a root, staggering forward and bracing her hand on a slimy tree trunk. She yanked her hand away almost instantly, the gritty, oozing texture making her palm burn, the loss of support almost sending the angel sprawling. She squinted at her hand, making out a smear of fibrous jelly coating it, the burning getting worse as she noticed the odd pits eaten into the trunk of the tree. The angel shivered, suddenly sober and very aware of the fact that nobody knew where she was, that she knew of nobody close enough to even call for her. She tried to rub her palm against her poofy skirts, not noticing the red and black smear she made on it, eyes wide and staring, some deep, dim part of her primordial brain ringing an alarm. She started to walk, quickly, focusing on the weaving beacon of the bond, trying to make herself feel silly, to ignore the swelling, unreasoning panic. A twig broke behind her. She froze. A white shade. One hand dripping blood from a corrosive injury she would have been horrified about had she looked. The angel didn't dare look back, but she was terrified to run, to hear something following, reaching, grabbing. Moments passed, filled with nothing. The angel finally resolving to run right at the moment when a thin, bony hand reached through her costume and into the muscles of her back like a nasty child squishing his hands into a cake. She screamed, or tried to. The sound squelched to little more than a harsh bark by the sheer volume of pain, limbs suddenly boneless and leaden, nerves dead except for agony. She felt fingers touching her ribs from the inside, even as they were slowly eaten away and corroded, her body shifting slowly to face the hand's owner. The flicker of the distant fire showed something withered, dark, slimy and pulpy soft, but wiry and strong. Two milky black eyes glistened at her in a too large head, hovering over a frozen corpse grin, teeth thin and chipped. The pinned angel gasped and blubbered, feeling an oily, burning corruption seeping into her body, trying to ignore a slow, falling feeling, trying not to feel the ground below her turning mushy and soft, swallowing both figures inch by inch. It leaned closer, and despite the searing horror of that face, some still sane part of her welcomed what was surely an approaching end to her pain. It lingered, however, the other twisted claw of a hand rising as the ground started to swallow their hips. The new touch made the angel lucid with a new fear, her face locking on those rotted eyes. She recognized the shine behind them and started to scream with a new, repulsed horror, even as it started to pull both her dress and skin away in sodden ribbons.
Ooh, spooky. I'll take Jason, and you can take the boy in the next one. Sound good?
Okay.
Jason ran, lungs burning, trying to yell for help between sharp gasps of air. His Batman costume felt like such a joke now, running between streetlights, feeling that warm spot of pee on his pants. Where was everyone? It had been so stupid trying to be the big brave kids and go out alone. Now he really was alone, and his friends had probably been eaten. That's the character shift when you realize that this person's a little younger. He didn't know this for sure, but when the boogeyman dropped out of a tree and started shoving kids into a wall that was suddenly like quicksand, it was probably a safe bet. He hadn't even been able to do anything. Just watched those long, bony fingers grab his two best friends and just yanked them away like dolls, barely screaming before the squishy black wall gulped them up. The boogeyman. It hooked his fingers into David's eyes like Dad had taught him to hold a bowling ball, and... oh, ow. Jason was abruptly sick down the front of his costume, the half-digested mass of chocolate looking unsettlingly like the goo that had splattered everywhere while the tall, lanky, naked old man had landed out of the tree. He stopped, stumbling to his knees, coughing and gagging, wailing out a weak scream for help to the dim night. It drifted off, unheeded, the boy unable to even sob, too numb with exhaustion and horror. He barely noticed the footsteps until they were nearly on top of him. He looked up, ready to beg whatever adult he saw for help. Then he saw the legs. Thin, black, the feet looking pulpy and flat with age, the concrete under them turning cracked and gooey. Jason looked up more, shaking more and more violently. The withered hips, the sticky, soft chest that didn't rise or fall, and finally that nightmare head, looking like some kind of rotten pumpkin, but black and oily as a bucket of tar. The eyes locked on the boys, as shiny and blank as a flashlight in the basement. The teeth parted, some kind of rolling, slimy blackness shifting inside. Jason stumbled back, gasping, trying to scream but unable to even breathe correctly. He stared at the boogeyman as he rolled something in the palm of that thin, beaten hand, pulling it between two bony fingers and lifting it to his mouth. The boy thought it was a candy or something, but then he saw the glint of metal. It was his best friend Anthony's front tooth. It still had the bracket from his braces on it. The boogeyman placed it between his teeth, gently, the tooth still white and clean in that filthy, dripping mouth. He seemed to hold it there a moment, then his jaw bunched, and the tooth shivered, then burst like a jawbreaker under a car tire. He chewed it twice, then just stopped, still staring at the boy. It seemed to go on and on, Jason unsure if he was even breathing anymore, knowing this was the end. This was what happened when you didn't listen, when you went off alone. The boogeyman came and took you, forever and always. But he didn't. He turned, seeming to get ready to take a step, then fell forward, slowly, an old man tripping over a shoe. The black monster almost hit the ground, but just fell through it, like it was made of air. Nothing but a black smear left behind on the concrete, and the tiny, corroded bracket from the tooth. When they found him, hours later, he gripped it hard enough to embed it in his palm.
The boy sat, comforted and miserable. His mother had been nice enough to let him at least wear his Mario costume, but even he had to admit he was probably too sick to walk around the house, let alone outside for hours in the cold. He'd woken up vomiting, and it had just continued, his parents hoping for the best, but finally forced to cancel the trick-or-treating. As sad as he was, they did try their best to make it up to him. There was a small bowl of candy for him with the promise that any leftovers would be given to him and he could watch all the scary movies he liked. Knock, knock. Trick or treat. Ah, such a cute turtle. And what are you, honey? I'm Rapunzel. Well, here you go, princess. Thank you. They hadn't even wanted to help pass things out. It was better to just try and ignore things. Just pretend everyone else was inside too. That made it better. He tugged the floppy hat down a bit, trying to convince himself that his tummy wasn't feeling like a hedgehog was rolling around inside. He watched the zombies lurch across the screen, half wishing that the screaming people running for the house were kids from his school. Knock, knock. Trick or treat. Oh, what a nice vampire. I'm Draculara. Rawr! So fearsome. Here you go. Thank you. He turned up the movie, the slow groans of the walking dead drowning out the happy shouts of the living. The worst was going to be tomorrow, being forced to listen to everyone, watch them eat candy and talking about different houses and adventures. He sighed and swallowed thickly, his stomach doing another slow, oily roll. The boy pushed away the candy he'd been nibbling, suddenly sickened by the smell. Knock, knock. Hello? Who are you? Oh, God! The sudden, rising shriek of his mother made the boy suddenly bolt upright, his stomach clenching even worse, but now totally forgotten. He couldn't see her from the couch, but he could hear noises, thumping and muffled shouts, and some kind of slimy-sounding rustle like sewage over dry leaves. He stood, and starting to peer around the short wall blocking the entryway, calling with a hesitant voice, scared of not getting a response, but almost equally so of getting one. He was only a few feet away when the hand whipped around the wall, gripping it tight. It was a black gray and thin, as bony and thin-skinned as his grandmother's, with white flat nails gripping the paint hard. Where it touched, a black stain was spreading like grease on a paper bag, the knuckles looking puffy and thick as they flexed. The boy stared, backing up slowly, calling again for his mother, his voice starting to plead. The hand flexed, actually sinking into the wall as that stain spread, and a nightmare peeped around the corner. The head was thick, misshapen, and lumpy, like a poorly made scarecrow. The skin thin and jelly-like. Two hard, glistening eyes, the color of maggots, stared from above the thin, wide slash of a mouth. Their eyes locked, and the boy felt fear wash from his head down to his feet, his stomach boiling like a forgotten kettle. His nerves screamed to run away, but he couldn't make himself stop watching those eyes, feet moving slowly backward like a sleepwalker. The hand and face shifted a bit, and there was a wet, heavy, dragging noise as his mother was pulled into view. She was dead, or close to it, moved forward by the hand in her chest like a sock puppet. Bits of her black and pulpy, smears of that black stain eating into her face, her neck, her arms. Her chest was a black, jelly-coated hole. The thing's other hand buried it. Wrist, the bloodless, ruined remains of his mother hanging from it like a rag doll. He screamed, then threw up, little more than a mess of bile and half-digested snacks, then ran, shrieking up the stairs, begging for his mother, father, anyone. He slammed into the bathroom, shutting and locking the door, shaking and crying. His dad had gone down the street to visit. He'd be home any second, and he'd fix this, somehow. He'd call the cops or something, get them out of the house, leave that black thing far behind. Maybe Mom was just hurt. People could get really hurt and still be fine. He'd only seen her for a few seconds. That thing was just some psycho in some costume. He'd probably run off as soon as coming, and then it'd be okay then. It'd be fine. He kept whispering this to himself, feet braced on the sink, back against the door. He was still repeating it when the face pushed through the wood above him. He heard the crackle and looked up to see that hell face looking down inches above his head. The floor under his feet suddenly felt sludgy and soft as he stared, the mouth splitting open to let a tongue as rotten and bloated as a dead fish roll free and down, sliding down onto that horrified face like a syrup, burning even as he felt his legs sinking down and down, unable to even move really, as that soft, slimy flesh burned like an acid into his face, feeling his nose cook down like an overused eraser, screaming just long enough to catch a few feet of that endless tongue in his mouth, gagging hard before the nerves died, starting to pass out as he felt the night ding his eyes. This is graphic.
106 stories are always horrid. But, you know, spooky season. Hope you weren't hungry. Glad you just ate, Aaron. All right.
Yeah, you throw out my salad.
Drac awoke feeling like he'd been sleeping on a pile of rusty car parts. He sat up, twisting and trying to locate the source of the throbbing pain in his leg. That memory started to flood back, hitting like a freight train, running across town, slamming through a crowd, seeing the withered, crumbling arm laying on the ground. Screams, people running, that horrible black face sliding from the ground, eyes locked on his. Parks firing. Parks firing? What does Parks firing mean? Eyes locked on his, Parks firing. All right, if anybody in the stream figures out what that means or wants to, like, try and figure that out later, because I don't know even what that intends to, like, fix it. Like, it could be a misspelling or could be a grammatical error. It just could be, I have no idea what Parks firing is. All right, anyway, Parks firing. More screams. A withered hand reaching, gripping, pulling. Oh, God, no. He looked around in welling horror, pleading with his own brain to lie to him. The room was dark, dirty, and low-ceilinged. Tufts of dirt and debris in the corners. The grayish paint peeling in ragged streamers. The stained ceiling and floor warped and lumpy. A doorway opened into darkness. A vague, insistent noise sounding from far off. The light was dim, but didn't seem to come from anywhere, seeming just a weak, omnipresent glow with a slight green cast, deep like ocean water. Drac knew this room, even though he'd never been here. At least, one's very much like it. The man liked to dump his new catches here before he found them. Drac rose quickly, hunching down to avoid a sagging bulge of ceiling. He barely wanted his shoes touching this place, let alone anything else. He winced, feeling a dull, empty ache in his leg, high in the calf, probably where it grabbed him, and damned if he was going to check it. He limped a few steps, making sure it could bear weight, eyes sweeping over every surface. He breathed slow, deeply, remembering the file, the brief. Time was subjective. He could have been out for seconds or weeks. It liked to play cat and mouse, tracking through its home or playroom or whatever the fuck it was. Space was endless, but sometimes people got out or were released. Keep moving, don't hide because it was God here and would know. He felt panic slithering around the edges of his brain and pushed it down, hard, face set and grim as he stepped out into the darkness beyond the doorway. The hall was long and broken, like a hospital hallway after an earthquake. No big holes, just twisted and tilted oddly. He creeped down, as close to a wall as he could get without touching it, feeling gritty plaster crunch under his feet. The noise was louder, the sound of high-pitched, monotonous crying. It set the teeth on edge, but they'd said it would be like this. The key was to keep moving, keep looking. Yes, it was endless, but if you kept on the move, it seemed like 106 got confused or lost track of things, and you could accidentally wander back into the world. He kept repeating the steps, the briefing in his head like a prayer, ignoring the part where 106 would typically hunt escapees forever. He took a right at the end of the hall, passing down another, and then a left, starting to move faster, ignoring the odd corroded twists of pipe and wire in some of the rooms he'd passed, or the suggestive, soggy mounds of something. The crying kept getting louder, the high-pitched, gurgling wail of a baby. Ignore it. Keep moving. It called the shots. It could make the whole place sound like a dentist drill if it wanted to. Drac pounded down a wall. Drac pounded down a hall, nearly at a dead run, trying not to see the growing dampness of the walls, the changing texture of things. Broken plaster over old greenish bricks, floor going from broken vinyl to concrete to dirt. He turned a corner too fast, a gooey patch of black causing his foot to skitter, nearly dropping him to his knees as he clutched the bare, wet brick wall. He looked out in the dim, mossy room, the sound of hapless, angry crying very, very loud now. He froze, staring, half-crouched and clutching the wall. It was standing in the middle of the room, a thick, ankle-deep puddle of black jelly at its feet. The old man was turning, slowly, rocking in slow, side-to-side motions. The crying was coming from the thing in his arms. It was a torso, wrapped in masses of what looked like barbed wire. The wire threaded in and out of flesh, some places looking like the bleeding skin had flowed like warm taffy over it. The ragged remains of the limbs twisted and stretched, every movement making the wires dig and tear more. It was hairless, the skin of its bare head and neck looking peeled and rotten, the face a mask of pain. The throat had been opened, carefully, twisted and held with wires. The baby crying was in fact this grown, mute torso, mutilated to make that pitiful, helpless wail. The old man was watching him. Face turned, eyes locked onto the man. Eyes locked onto the man as he slowly tried to stand upright, ignoring the hissing of his boots, trying not to think of what would have to be done to a throat to make it sound like a baby in agony, or where that pitiful torso's limbs had gone. It watched him, cracked teeth slightly parted, and slowly stopped its rocking. It dropped the wire-bound bundle, arms going limp at its sides as the mass of flesh and pain bounced off the ground, then rested face down in the mossy grime, sending up a new wave of protest between bubbly, sucking breaths. It turned to face him, arms dangling, body wrapped in what looked like some kind of shredded cloth of oozing black fabric. Drac ran, bolting like a scared deer, throwing training and conditioning to the wind in the mad, blind, animal panic of escape. He screamed, panted, talked, laughed, anything to drown out the sound of the slow, stuttering steps lurking behind him. He ran and ran and ran, falling and hitting the ground like he'd been hit by a car, gasping and waiting for the end, muscles throbbing. Then they would start again, those soft, rustling footsteps, driving him on and on and on. He didn't know it, but he'd run for 4 days before the old man started taking chunks out of him. Ah, man.
No,
Yummy.
nope. That's a big nope.
That's big nope. Biggest nope. Ugh. All right, you want to take this ending?
Recovery was in the pre-dawn hours. What?
Oh, I was saying you can take this ending. You're on it. Get it, girl.
Oh. Taking turns. Recovery was in the pre-dawn hours with no sun or moon and went shockingly smooth, all things considered. SCP-106 was found in the middle of a field, making pumpkins sag and burst by squeezing or stepping on them. The team, a man short, was finally reinforced an hour before they caught it, pushing it back into the recovery chamber with the big halogen sun guns. nearly blinding 2 of the recovery crew in their zeal to have the old man back under lock and key. It sat in a cell without a moment's attempt to try and escape. It sat and did nothing, head tilted, arms and legs limp. One MTF member stated that it looked sated and was told to shut up in an official capacity. Disappearances were glossed over, murders quieted and made unnewsworthy, urban legends seeded and caressed. Overall, it went well once the hell was over. Weeks later, an observation tech made a note in the day's log. SCP-106 was observed to suddenly produce a large handful of small white objects, later identified as teeth and finger bones, and set the pile on the floor. It then sorted these objects into what seemed random piles, later identified as separated by age of victim. It then stared at these items for several hours and then recollected them. The significance of this was considered unworthy of contemplation.
Wacky fun. Wacky fun. Oh. Oh, yay. And during that, we got 2 donations to the San Francisco LGBT Center. That's fantastic. Thank you guys so much. We are really kicking off this stream good. All right, now I am going to look for a new story to read. Because that was horrifying. That was terrible. And hey, we made it to hour 1 of 24. Good job, team.
Woo!
What was
I
that?
have Shy Guy in the Staircase pulled up.
Yeah, go ahead, Aaron. Give us either one of those 2 you like. I will pull up whichever one you pull up.
Let's do Staircase.
Okay, which number is Staircase?
087.
087. Doing the classics this morning. Excellent. 087.
These are the things that addicted me to SCP.
Series 1 SCP are super creepy. Like, I love the new stuff as well. Like, it gets more complicated, but it is fun to come back to, like, the roots and get into, like, what started the site.
Okay. SCP-087, Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-087 is located on the campus of Redacted. The doorway leading to SCP-087 is constructed of reinforced steel with an electro-release lock mechanism. It has been disguised to resemble a janitorial closet consistent with the design of the building. The lock mechanism on the doorknob will not release unless redacted volts are applied in conjunction with counterclockwise rotation of the key. The inside of the door is lined with 6 centimeters of industrial foam padding. Due to the results of the final exploration, see document 0874, no personnel are permitted access to SCP-087. And there's a photo of just a very dark staircase. Description. SCP-087 is an unlit platform staircase. Stairs descend on a 38-degree angle for 13 steps before reaching a semicircular platform of approximately 3 meters in diameter. Descent direction rotates 180 degrees at each platform. The design of SCP-087 limits subjects to a visual range of approximately 1.5 flights. A light source is required for any subjects exploring SCP-087. There are no lighting fixtures or windows present. Lighting sources brighter than 75 watts have shown to be ineffective, as SCP-087 seems to absorb excess light. Subjects report and audio recordings confirm the distressed vocalizations from what is presumed to be a child between the ages of redacted and redacted. The source of the distress calls is estimated to be located approximately 200 meters below the initial platform. However, any attempts to descend the staircase have failed to bring subjects closer to the source. The depth of descent calculated from exploration 4, the longest exploration, is shown to be far beyond both the possible structure of the building and geological surroundings. At this time, it is unknown if SCP-087 has an endpoint. SCP-087 has undergone 4 video-recorded explorations by Class D personnel. Each subject conducting an exploration has encountered SCP-087-1, which appears as a face with no visible pupils, nostrils, or mouth. The nature of SCP-087 is entirely unclear, but has been determined that it is not the source of the pleading. Subjects exhibit feelings of intense paranoia and fear when faced with SCP-087-1, but it is undetermined whether said feelings are abnormal or simply natural reactions. Over a period of 2 weeks following Exploration 4, several members of the staff and students from the redacted campus reported knocking at a variable rate of 1 to 2 seconds per knock coming from the interior of SCP-087. The door leading to the SCP-087 has been fitted with 6 centimeter thick industrial padding. All reports of knocking have ceased. Authorized personnel may refer to document 087-1 through 087-4 for transcripts of those explorations. Shall we do the explorations?
I think we pretty much have to. How about I take 1, you take 2, I'll take 3. We'll go back and forth.
Okay.
Document number 087-1. Exploration
Do we not
1.
have 4?
Say it again?
There's no 4. I guess 4 is expunged.
Oh yeah, 4 is redacted. All right.
Dang it.
D8432 is a 43-year-old Caucasian male of average build and appearance, and remarkable psychological background. Class D designation is the result of demotion due to mishandling SCP redacted. D8432 is equipped with a 75-watt flood lamp with battery power capable of lasting 24 hours, a handheld camera fitted with a transmission stream, and an audio headset for communication with Dr. Blank at control. D8432 steps through doorway onto initial platform. Despite the wattage, the flood lamp only illuminates the first 9 steps. The second platform is not visible. D8432 and D talk. There's a conversation. It's fucking dark. Is your flood lamp functioning properly? D8432 shines the light out of the door into the academic building's hallway. The light reaches significantly further. Hey, Aaron, why don't you play the doctor and I'll play the D class?
Well, then I have to plug in.
Oh, no worries. I'll keep
Battery
it
low
running.
now.
Oh, no. All right, I'll run this one for now. Let me know when you want to play.
Where did I go?
Yeah, it's
Hey,
working.
who am I?
You'll be the doctor. Yeah, it's working. It just won't let these stairs all the way down.
Thank you. Please continue.
D8432 descends for 13 steps before reaching the second platform. The platform is in the shape of a semicircle with an apparently concrete surface and walls. There are no distinct markings aside from nondescript patches of dust, dirt, or wear consistent of that which is found in a typical concrete stairwell. D8432 rotates 180 degrees to begin descent down the second flight, then pauses.
Reason for stopping?
You hear that? There's a fucking kid down here. Sounds like one. None of the described audio is feeding through the camera or mic at this time.
Could you please describe the sound?
It's young. Either a female or a very young boy. It's crying and sobbing and saying, "Please, help, please." Yeah, it keeps repeating that and crying.
Can you estimate its distance from your current location?
Fuck, I don't know. Maybe 200 meters down?
Please continue down the next flight.
The subject descends another 13 steps. As he reaches the landing, audio of the child as described is picked up. The child alternates between sobbing, wailing, and the words, "Please, help," and "down here." The level of audio is consistent with D8432's report of it being approximately 200 meters down.
Can you still hear the crying?
Yeah.
We're picking it up as well. Please continue down. Stop if you notice any changes in the audio or environment.
The subject descends another 3 flights of stairs before stopping. Keep going.
Please.
D8432 continues another 17 flights, total of 22 flights, before stopping. There are no visual changes in the environment, and each flight has been a consistent 13 steps. I'm not getting any fucking closer to the kid. Stereo audio confirms that the crying noise has not increased in volume and remains approximately 200 meters below the subject.
Noted. Please continue.
The subject continues another 28 flights before stopping, 50 flights total. D8432 is standing on the 51st landing, counting the initial ground level landing. D8432 is estimated to be 200 meters below the initial platform. 34 minutes have elapsed. The volume of the crying has not increased. I feel a little uneasy.
You've spent a long time in a dark, unknown stairwell. It's natural. Please continue.
The subject hesitates before stepping down on the next stair. As the subject moves forward, the flood lamp illuminates a face located approximately at the bottom of the flight, SCP-087-1. It appears to be the same size and shape as a human head, except it is lacking a mouth, nostrils, and pupils. The face is completely motionless, but it's making direct eye contact, indicating its awareness of D8432. Fuck! What the fuck is that? Shit! Holy fucking shit! What the hell?
Can you please describe what you see?
It's some sort of fucking person face thing, and it's fucking look right at me. Fuck, it's looking right at me.
Is it moving?
No, it's just staring at me. Fuck. It's creepy.
Please approach and further illuminate the entity.
Fuck. I don't want to fucking. The face jerks forward about 50 centimeters directly toward D8432. Fuck. Hello, neighbors upstairs. D8432 enters a panic state and rapidly ascends SCP-087. D8432 reaches the ground floor in 18 minutes, at which time he collapses and passes out. There is no sign of SCP-087-1. Review of the footage indicates an equal number of flights and steps ascending as descending. Audio of the crying and pleading remains at the same volume until the last flight, at which point it ceases. Medical reports indicate collapse was a result of the rapid ascension of the stairs, causing fatigue. Document 1 complete.
Document number 087-2, Exploration 2. D9035 is a 28-year-old African-American male of strong build. Psychological background indicates no abnormalities except an extreme hatred for women. Subject has an extensive record of data expunged. D-9035 is equipped with a 100-watt flood lamp with battery power capable of lasting 24 hours, a handheld camcorder fitted with transmission stream, and an audio headset for communication with Dr. Redacted at control. D9035 is also equipped with a backpack containing 100 small LED lights with adhesive backs and battery lives of approximately 3 weeks. Lights turn on and off by compressing them. D9035 shines the flood lamp down the first flight of stairs. Despite the extra wattage, the light does not illuminate beyond the 9th step. Want to be the guy again?
You want me to go down there, Doc?
Please shine your flood lamp outside of SCP-087 to confirm it is functioning properly.
You can take the narration this time, too.
Oh, that's right. 9035 shines the light into the hallway. Comparison with the footage from Exploration 1 confirms it is indeed brighter. Thank you. Please continue to the first landing.
Hey, Doc, I know what you said and all, but I don't think I want to go there.
Please continue to the first landing.
Doc, look, I just really...
As per our earlier conversation, please continue to the first landing. 9035 pauses for 18 seconds and then descends 13 steps to the first landing and stops.
Is that a kid?
Please remove one of the adhesive lights and affix it to the wall on the landing.
Doc, you hear that? Is that a kid down there?
That's unconfirmed. Please affix an adhesive light to the wall and verify it functions. 9035 hesitates and then removes one of the lights from his backpack and adheres it to the wall. He presses on the light and it turns on. Please turn off your flood lamp. 9035 hesitates again before turning off the lamp. The LED light illuminates the landing but does not extend beyond the first step either way. Thank you. You may turn your flood lamp back on. Please continue to descend. At each landing, affix an LED light to the wall and turn it on. If you notice anything unusual, please report it. D9035 turns the flood lamp back on, then descends the next flight of stairs. As he sets foot on the landing, the audio picks up sounds of pleading and crying, consistent with those of the first exploration. Can you still hear the previously reported audio?
Yeah. She sounds about 150, maybe 200 meters down. Am I supposed to get her? Look, Doc, I don't do good with kids.
Please place the light and continue down until you notice anything unusual. The subject adheres the light to the wall and turns it on, then continues to the next landing. He adheres the third LED light to the wall and turns it on. D9035 continues in this manner for the next 25 flights before stopping.
I don't think I'm getting any closer to the kid, Doc.
How far below would you estimate the source of the sound to be?
Same as before, 150 to 200 meters down.
Thank you. Please proceed. D9035 continues in the same fashion for the next 24 flights. At the 51st landing, he stops. Footage shows an arched gouge in the concrete wall, estimated to be approximately 50 centimeters long and 10 centimeters wide. The first step down from the landing appears to be completely smashed into rubble.
You see that?
Yes, please describe what you see.
Looks like something slashed at the wall, and the step over here is all crumbled up and stuff. The slash mark looks really smooth.
D9035 touches the gouge mark.
Yeah, it's smooth. Feels like glass.
Thank you. Please continue down.
Look, Doc, I think I've gone far enough.
Please continue as per our agreement.
I don't want to be doing this, agreement or not.
Data expunged. D9035 steps over the destroyed step and continues down the staircase. Nothing is notable at the next landing. D9035 adheres an LED light to the wall and continues in the same fashion for another 38 flights. The sound of the crying and pleading still has not gotten closer. D9035 is on the 89th landing and 74 minutes have elapsed from the beginning of the exploration. Subject is estimated to be 350 meters below the initial platform.
I feel like the kid's just trying to lure me down there, Doc. I think it's time for me to...
9035 stops talking and moving as the flood lamp illuminates SCP-087-1. The face is staring directly at D9035, again indicating awareness of the subject's presence. Although SCP-087-1 is moving, its location is 38 flights below the initial encounter in Exploration 1, indicating that it is mobile. Is there a reason you've stopped? 9035's breathing grows labored. SCP-087-1 remains immobile for an additional 13 seconds. SCP-087-1 blinks.
Incomprehensible yelling! Ah!
SCP-087-1 jerks forward until it is approximately 90 centimeters from D9035. Subject turns and flees up the stairs. Please relax and calm down. Turn around. We need a case.
That's a big no!
D9035 ignores Dr. Redacted. and continues rapid ascent. He continues to scream incomprehensibly. D9035, can you hear me? Please slow down. D9035 is unresponsive and continues rapidly climbing the stairs. His screaming diminishes to babbling. After ascending 72 flights, D9035 collapses on the 17th landing. D9035, can you hear me? D9035 is unresponsive, but labored breathing can be heard through the audio feed. For the next 14 minutes, D9035 is immobile. The visual feed is black, and audio picks up only the subject's breathing and the continuous pleading coming from below. After 14 minutes and 32 seconds of unchanging visual and audio feeds, the sound of a rapid heartbeat not consistent with a human heartbeat and a low cracking noise is heard. 7 seconds later, D9035 gasps and revives, continuing his ascent of the stairs rapidly and wordlessly. The heartbeat and cracking cease, and nothing abnormal is detected on the visual feed. He remains unresponsive. D9035 exits SCP-087 and sits on the floor outside of the entrance. D9035 then enters a catatonic state from which he has not yet recovered.
Oh, you had a bad day. You're taking one down. Sing a sad song. Just turn it around. Document 087-3. Exploration 3. D9884 is a 23-year-old female of average build and appearance. Psychological background indicates a history of depression. Subject has minimal record of using excessive force to data expunged. D9884 is equipped with a 75-watt flood lamp with battery power capable of lasting 24 hours, a handheld camcorder, fitted with a transmission stream, and an audio headset for communication with Dr. Blank at control. D9884 is also equipped with a backpack containing 3.75 liters of water, 15 nutrient bars, and 1 thermal blanket. D9884 stands on the ground level landing of SCP-087. The flood lamp illuminates only the first 9 steps. LED lights placed on the wall during the last exploration are not visible. Do you want to take the D since it's a female this time and I'll be the doctor?
Yep.
Please descend the first flight and examine the landing wall. D9884 descends 13 steps and stops at the landing. There is no trace of the LED light at the location footage from Exploration 2. Indicates that it's placed.
Yeah, it's just a dirty concrete wall. There's like nothing on it. No, wait. It's a little bit sticky right here.
D9884 indicates a spot on the wall. The LED light should have been located.
There's a child crying down there. She's begging for help and crying.
Thank you. Please continue down the steps until you notice anything unusual. D9884 descends. Upon reaching the next landing, audio of the crying child consistent with the prior 2 explorations is picked up. No LED lights appear to be present on any of the landing walls. D9884 continues with no incident until she reaches the 17th landing.
Ew, there's something on the ground here and it smells really bad. It's all sticky and stuck on my shoe. Ugh, it's so gross.
Video feed confirms presence of substance occupying a space approximately 50 centimeters in diameter. Can you describe the scent?
It kind of smells like old rusty metal and pee.
Thank you. Please continue until you notice anything else. 9884 continues to the 51st landing without incident. The 51st landing remains unchanged from the previous expedition, and similar observations are made. D9884 is asked again to descend until anything unusual is noticed. Subject continues to descend until the 89th landing is reached. The video feed jerks and the subject yells.
Ah, fuck! There's a hole in the ground and I almost fell in.
Video feed confirms the presence of a hole approximately 1 meter in diameter. The subject shines the floodlight down, revealing only blackness. Approximately 4 seconds pass, and a light of an indeterminate distance down the hole flicks on for approximately 2 seconds and then back off.
There was a light down there. It's gone now, but it was on for like a second. Did you see it?
Yes. Can you estimate the depth of this hole?
No way. It's too deep. At least a kilometer. Like, way more than a kilometer.
Thank you. Can you still hear the sounds of the child?
Uh-huh. She still sounds far away. I don't feel like I'm getting any closer. It's like for every step I take, she takes one down.
Please continue down until you encounter anything unusual. D9884 continues to descend SCP-087 for approximately an hour, covering an additional 164 flights. She stops on the 253rd landing, consuming one nutrient bar and several gulps of water. D9884 is at an estimated 1.1 kilometers below the initial landing, yet the sound of the child has not changed in volume. After pausing for 4 minutes, D9884 resumes her descent, making no stops for another 216 flights. 1.5 hours later, D9884 is on the 469th landing, at approximately 1.8 kilometers below ground level.
I'm not getting anywhere. I think it's time I went back. I mean, going down is one thing, but this is a long climb back.
You have been provided with food, water, and blankets to last you 24 hours. Please continue down.
No, I think I'm gonna go back up.
D9884 turns toward the previous flight of stairs. SCP-087-1, the face, is directly behind D9884, blocking her ascent. The face appears approximately 30 centimeters from the lens of the camera. Its eyes are fixed directly on the lens, this time looking not at the subject, but the person viewing the video feed. The video feed glitches and freezes for 4 seconds, accompanied by a static-like screeching noise from the audio feed. It then comes to bumpy visuals of 984 descending the stairs rapidly.
It's been following me this whole time. It's been right behind me. Oh God, it's right behind me. It was looking right at me. Doctor, please do something. Please help me. Oh God, no, please get it away. Please, no, please. I knew it was following me. Help. Make it leave. Please. No, it was looking at me. It was staring at me. I knew it was here. I was here. It's been watching me this whole time. Oh God, please help me. No, please.
This continues into a similar fashion until the end. D988 continues to scream and plead hysterically as she rapidly descends the staircase. The previously heard static-like screeching seems to overlay the audio feed, beneath which can still be heard the original sound of the crying child. Approximately 14 flights down, the video feed swings to show the area directly behind D9884. The face is now approximately 20 centimeters from the camera lens. It is not staring at the subject, rather it is fixated on the camera lens, giving the illusion it is making eye contact with those viewing the footage. It is important to note that since the sighting of SCP-087-1, the sound of the girl crying and pleading has been increasing in volume, indicating D9884 is nearing the source. After an approximate 150 panic flights of descent with 3 visual confirmations of SCP-087-1 still in pursuit, D9884 trips and appears to fall unconscious. Audio feed indicates strong proximity to the source of the crying. The static and screeching noise continue. Video feed shows yet another descending flight of stairs, indicating D9884 still has not reached the base of the stairwell. 12 seconds of motionlessness pass before the face comes in full view of the camera, eye contact being made directly with the viewer. Audio and video feeds cut out, and no connection is reestablished.
She did.
Oh, that's good spoops. That's good spoops. Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm a little spooked out, and I'm just sitting here reading it in a bright room.
I have to sleep after this.
Oh, I won't be sleeping, thankfully. Thankfully for that.
I'm gonna have horrible nightmares.
Yeah, you have good sleep there. It's gonna be wonderful. All right, let's take a break from the spoops, or at least maybe it's a break from the spoops. If I don't know the article, I don't know that it's a break. We're kind of exploring some of these together because I don't know them. And phrase that I'm looking for. And so the next SCP is a request from our first donor, Katie. And there is an SCP called 4091, and apparently it's about a dog. And so we're going to have an SCP about a puppy.
No.
We'll see if that's a good puppy or a bad puppy. 4091.
I'm getting rats next week. I'm
You're
going to
gonna
have
get
a
rats
pet.
next week. That's wonderful. Yay, rats.
I'm so excited.
Oh, wait, I can go upvote this SCP-087 because I haven't upvoted that one before. Yay, upvotes. Yeah, they're going to be so many upvotes from me for today. Sherman's been on the site for 24 hours, guys. He's just upvoting things. He likes these stories or something. All right. This is a shorty and a puppy. Just as an update for everybody, the donate link, I will still be putting it in the chats constantly. That way we have access to it. We currently have 2 donations, which is baller, and that brings us to 25 out of our 1,000 goal. There's the donation link in the YouTube chat, and there's the donation link in the Get Vocal chat. And I've got to send the stream link to SCP Illustrated because it looks like we might have a guest. But I'm going to send him the link in 15 minutes because we're going to have to change video feeds to the second shift at 2 a.m. my time. So in about 13 minutes, we will be starting a second video to keep everything broken up. I'll send him a message that says, I'll send you the link for the 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. video in 14 minutes. But before we do that, let's top off the first shift with a puppy. And so, item number, SCP-4091. Object class, Euclid. Special containment procedures. Current junior researcher Shepard is kept in a standard humanoid containment chamber at Site-42. An area with a radius of 5 meters around junior researcher Shepard is to be monitored at all times. When SCP-4091-1 manifests, it is to be intercepted by Foundation security personnel and kept in containment until demanifestation. Description. SCP-4091 is a phenomenon involving the spontaneous manifestation of a single Canis lupus familiaris, designated SCP-4091-1, within a 5-meter radius of junior researcher Shepard. The time between SCP-4091 occurrences varies greatly, with the longest recorded time being 3 months and the shortest recorded time being 1 hour. By the way, just for video fam, here is our instance of SCP-4091-1. Isn't he adorable? Or at least he is before we know what he does. SCP-4091-1 is sapient and capable of speech. Talking doggo. Upon manifestation, SCP-4091-1 will attempt to locate and converse with junior researcher Shepard. SCP-4091-1 will demanifest following the conclusion of this conversation, or if it is unable to locate junior researcher Shepard within 30 minutes of manifestation. Addendum. Recorded conversation between junior researcher Shepard and SCP-4091-1. Aaron, do you want to be the doggo or researcher Shepard?
I want to be the doggo.
Okay. I'll be junior researcher Shepard. Oh, it's you. How have you been?
Pretty good.
That's good. So has anything interesting happened since I left?
Not really. We've all just kind of been hanging out.
Yeah, I figured. Nothing really happened while I was there either.
That's not true. Remember how pissed Mike's mom was when he slipped and got mud all over his new jeans? We were laughing about that for years.
Yeah, that was good. Junior researcher Shepard stares at the floor. SCP-4091-1 and junior researcher Shepard remain silent for 40 seconds.
I miss you, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Will you ever come back?
I don't know if I can.
Why is that?
I work here.
What's work?
You wouldn't get it.
So, think you can come back later?
Probably not.
Damn, that's a bummer.
Yeah. Foundation security personnel arrive. SCP-4091-1 demanifests and log. When questioned, junior researcher Shepard refused to elaborate on his conversation with SCP-4091-1. Well, that's sad. Aw.
Adorable. Adorable.
I left my puppy and I'm sad about it. That is a very easy to understand SCP. And it's right there in the feely wheelies. I did not ask to be attacked and touched in this way. Thank you. Thank you. This is all your fault. My tech crew is torturing me. All right. Oh, Lord. Okay, next SCP. I want a short one because we still have time. Let's go down the line. See what kind of spooks we have. I already read that one, so I don't need to read it again. Did you have another one popped up, Erin, that you had in mind?
I had Shy Guy, but that's not short.
That's not short. All right.
What's the coffee cup?
I don't remember the coffee cup. I'm not sure about that one.
Ho, ho, ho. Is it you?
Me? Am I the coffee cup? I might be the coffee cup.
This might be it. We'll see. All right. I'll know by the end of the story. Okay, this is SCP-198. Object class, Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP-198 is located in a secure room with armed guards posted outside to prevent any unauthorized access. SCP-198 is to be stored under 24-hour video surveillance in a sealed and locked case, 0.5 meter by 0.5 meter by 0.5 meter. And the key kept in a secured location accessible only to those personnel with level 3 clearance and above. Only under no circumstances are any Foundation personnel to handle SCP-198. All handling of SCP-198 is to be done via remote robotic means or by D-Class test subjects only. In light of Incident 198-A and 198-B, Object Class has been elevated to Euclid and Containment Protocol 198 has been established. SCP-198's case must now be kept on a digital scale attached to an alarm system with redundant backups for power in its secure room. Any deviations in weight will indicate a breach, and site supervisors must immediately enact Containment Protocol 198 detailed below. Description. SCP-198 has taken numerous forms since coming into Foundation possession in 19 redacted. Since acquisition, SCP-198 has been observed to have had dozens of different forms, including a styrofoam cup, redacted brand glass beer bottle, redacted and aluminum cans, an oversized shot glass that read 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor, a plastic water bottle with a redacted label partially peeled off, and data expunged. These forms always appear partially filled with the expected liquid a vessel of that type would contain. Currently, SCP-198 appears as an ordinary white porcelain coffee mug with blue vertical stripes evenly spaced around its exterior. There are no visible manufacturer markings or otherwise remarkable details about its appearance in its current form. The object resisted all attempts at destruction or sampling for further analysis. When inactive, SCP-198 can hold the expected 240 milliliters, or 8 fluid ounces, of liquid that any standard coffee mug would hold. Anomalous behavior does not manifest until a live human being grasps SCP-198 to hold it. Approximately 2 to 5 seconds after the SCP is held, it will instantly bond itself through unknown, albeit painful means to the handler or hands. Test subjects have reported the pain of bonding 198 as a searing or fiery sensation, though no heat can be detected by outside observers or instruments. The use of gloves or other barriers between the object and the hand does not prevent the bonding process, so long as the subject can still grip SCP-198. Extensive testing has revealed that the bond appears to be at the molecular level and is permanent until the death of its holder. To date, no means have been found to break the bond, including cutting or severing the fingers or hand of the holder, as any wounds below the wrist of this test subject heal instantaneously. Further proposed testing of the range of healing up to the handler's arm is pending approval. Once bonded, any liquid inside SCP-198 will disappear and the container will inexplicitly begin to fill from the bottom up with a fluid or a semi-solid material, stopping only once it reaches the top of the container. The liquid or semi-solid is different for each holder, but it has to date been a bodily fluid or human excretion in each test instance. Such instances have included human saliva, sweat, blood, bile, mucus, urine, feces, and data expunged, as well as combinations of 2 or more of these. Once SCP-198 has filled, the holder will undergo rapid dehydration and/or emaciation, becoming increasingly malnourished to the point of death, which usually occurs within 24 hours if nothing is done to prevent it. Ingestion of standard foods, liquids, or IV-supplied nutrients does nothing to reverse or slow this process. Testing has revealed that the only means by which the subject can gain nourishment is by consuming the contents of SCP-198. However, the constant rate of dehydration and emaciation remains the same, forcing the test subject to consume vast quantities of the excretions almost constantly to remain alive. As the contents are consumed, or as is often the case, dumped out of the container, SCP-198 will continue to refill itself automatically. Test subjects have lasted as long as 70 hours by consuming the excretions before finally succumbing to exhaustion or refusing to consume any more of the contents, leads to death. Upon expiration of the handler, the bond with SCP-198 is broken and the object can once again be manipulated. In approximately 75% of test instances, SCP-198 will disappear once the bond is broken and reappear almost instantly on a nearby flat surface, seemingly with a preference for tables or shelves within the same room, and take on a new form. Approximately 90% of these reappearances of SCP-198 are within the general vicinity of the now deceased handler, but several times the object has been observed to reappear in nearby containment rooms, observation rooms, and in one case, data expunged. Due to the catastrophic nature of that incident, extreme care is to be taken when in proximity to SCP-198's containment or testing room. Foundation personnel are with them any beverages or containers within 100 meters of SCP-198's containment room, even when the object is not actively being researched. SCP-198 was acquired by the Foundation from an underground bunker in redacted Germany after the bunker's accidental discovery by construction workers. Reports of strange activity and deaths among the construction company regarding this bunker brought the object to Foundation attention. Agent Redacted, upon responding to the location, discovered several deceased and grossly emaciated corpses, both recent and some quite old. Unaware of the nature of their deaths or the SCP in question, Agent Redacted sealed off the area and awaited backup. It was then that the nature of SCP object revealed itself as the agent mistakenly grabbed what appeared to be an unopened bottle of water from a table at the construction site. Backup arrived and Agent Redacted, vomiting and struggling to remove from his hand a cup full of fresh expunged. Agent Redacted later self-terminated during location cleanup. Incident A. At approximately 2:15 p.m., researcher John Redacted, who was working in an observation room adjacent to SCP-198's containment room, reached for what he thought to be his thermos of iced tea, only to discover he was firmly bonded to what appeared to be SCP-198. Immediately, researcher Redacted notified site supervisors, who, upon inspection of containment room 198, discovered that SCP-198 was indeed missing from its case. At least 3 months had passed since the last experiment had been conducted on SCP-198 without incident. Researcher Redacted was interviewed by site staff and was kept alive but consuming the contents of SCP-198 for 31 hours before finally refusing to drink the contents any longer. Incident B. At approximately 8 a.m., security guard Albert Redacted stopped to get a cup of coffee from a break room later determined to be located 3 floors underneath and 2 hallways over from SCP-198's containment room. The guard found himself bonded to SCP-198 when he attempted to grab a bottle of dairy creamer from the break room refrigerator. Once again, site supervisors were notified of potential containment breach and discovered SCP-198's case to be empty. Guard Redacted was interviewed and chose to self-terminate rather than consume any of the contents. Immediately after 198-B incident, supervisors determined that the object class should be raised to Euclid, and Protocol 198 was created to handle further containment breaches, which is the scale. Containment Protocol 198. Containment Protocol 198 is to be executed immediately by site supervisors after a containment breach of SCP-198 is detected. In the event that the alarm attached to SCP-198 scale is sounded, Site Redacted is to be locked down and all personnel are to immediately avoid any beverage containers and evacuate the facility until SCP-198 can be located and properly secured. It's a gross one.
I didn't like any of that. I mean, as a writer, I liked a lot of it, but I personally was not a fan of most of that. Oh, my angry cartoon face. All right, that brings us to the end of shift number 1 of our live stream. So what's going to happen now is the YouTube video is going to end. The Get Vocal room is going to disappear. Those of us on Get Vocal are going to migrate to the second shift room and start up again. And the new YouTube video will spawn. So those viewing on YouTube, there will be a new live stream in just a hot second. So we will be back.
And Aaron's going to go to bed.
So, first shift, we raised $25, 2 hours. So we're starting up. Things actually happened. Yay. See you guys in the next video in less than a minute. Stop broadcast.